Happy Thanksgiving to you and your family. Welcome to the Aging Adventure on KFOR, brought to you by the caring professionals at The Legacy, with 4 state-of-the-art locations here in Lincoln: The Legacy, Legacy Terrace, Legacy Estates, and Legacy Arbors. Welcome. I'm Dale Johnson, joined by John Kopetsky of Legacy Terrace and longtime friend of Lincoln Seniors, Kathy Blythe. Good morning, John. Good morning, Kathy.
Good morning, Dale.
Good morning, Dale.
Every Saturday morning, we spend time with people who care about seniors and the life they deserve during retirement. Coming up on the Aging Adventure, it's Jocelyn Fitzgerald and Stuart Mitchell, Legacy Retirement Advisors, on using the holidays as an opportunity to talk with relatives about retiring. That's coming up on the Aging Adventure after Kay Wenzl takes us into the vast array of services provided by Aging Partners of Lincoln.
Hi, Kay. It's nice to have you back on our program again. Let's start out today by talking about the bombardment of advertisements to do with the Medicare plans that are going on right now. Can you tell us about this?
Yes, Kathy, thanks for the opportunity to come back on the show. I'm seeing all those advertisements on TV and the radio also. Medicare open enrollment is going on right now, and it goes through December 7th. So it's a busy time of the year. Persons who are currently on Medicare can change their Medicare plan coverage if they desire. So it's a good time to review their Medicare D coverage, which is the part that pertains to prescription medications, to be sure that the Medicare D plan provides the most coverage for your specific pharmaceutical needs, or to select a different plan that might better cover your costs. Aging Partners offers individual appointments. However, we are at capacity and are solidly booked for all of our Medicare plan program appointments. We're referring people who want assistance with this to the SHIP program, which is the Senior Health Insurance Program, and their number is 402-471-2841. We know that the SHIP counselors are also very busy, but they've still got some appointments available.
And I took advantage of that service myself.
Good job, good deal.
And I know the SHIP volunteers can save people a lot of money. Looking over different plans, it can mean the difference of thousands of dollars.
Right, and each year those same plans tend to differ in what they offer. So a Part D plan this year from a company might meet your needs now, but the coverage that they're offering for the upcoming year might have changed. So it's a good idea to just do a quick review. Well, not quick, but a good review and get the most bang for your Medicare buck. But in addition to the Medicare annual enrollment questions, we've got a benefits counselor who helps inform and educate people just turning 65 about general Medicare questions, or can help people who are continuing to be employed after they turn 65 and want to find out more information about how to coordinate their private health insurance coverage with Medicare. She helps with Social Security questions, Medicaid eligibility, other benefits, and insurance-related questions.
Hey, I know that Aging Partners is a tremendous asset for our community, and we're really blessed to have such a strong aging agency in Lincoln. Are there some programs that you offer that maybe are kind of hidden gems that folks don't know about that you'd like to share with us this morning?
Sure. In addition to the one I just talked about with benefits counseling, one of the other hidden gems I like to highlight is our legal services program. We contract with an attorney with over 37 years of specialized elder law experience and offer legal consultations for anyone 60 years of age and over. The attorney frequently prepares wills, powers of attorney for healthcare and finances. And those services are really aimed at lower income seniors who otherwise couldn't afford an attorney's fees. But other issues that our attorney has addressed on behalf of clients are things like debt collection, healthcare issues, Medicaid and Social Security eligibility when there's a concern, estate planning questions, landlord-tenant disputes. So it's a pretty wide variety of questions and issues that come through our office for the legal services program.
Our time is shorter than we wish it was, but can you give us another little snapshot, just an overview of other services you offer too?
Sure. The senior centers here in Lincoln, Lancaster County, and our other counties are open and serving meals at lunchtime. But there's lots of other activities going on there. Exercise programs, games, crafts, classes, entertainment, musical programs are really popular. We've got some special holiday meals coming up during Thanksgiving week, and also to celebrate the December holidays, the third week of December. We do ask that people call a couple days in advance to reserve the meal. We also offer transportation if someone doesn't drive to and from the center.
Okay, if people want more information about your services, or perhaps they'd like to volunteer as a driver or in some other capacity with Aging Partners, how should they get in touch?
Sure. Please call our main office, which is 402-441-7070.
Kay, thank you very much. Coming up, how the holidays can make it easier to talk with loved ones about those holidays when the aging adventure continues. We're back on the Aging Adventure, brought to you by The Legacy. I'm Dale Johnson with John and Kathy. Our conversation this morning is with Jocelyn Fitzgerald and Stuart Mitchell, Legacy Retirement Advisors. The holidays are coming up. Families are getting together, so maybe that brings up an opportunity to address changes that you might see in their home.
Jocelyn, Stuart, thanks for joining us this morning. Are there typical things that you should look out for when you're maybe visiting with a loved one who might be older? Things that to make sure that they're staying safe?
A lot of times families don't always live close by, or maybe don't visit and aren't seeing some of the things that maybe their loved one is going through. And sometimes it can be kind of eye-opening. You could come in and, maybe the house isn't as picked up as it once was. If you look in the fridge and there might be some food that's maybe, kind of questionable or maybe a little bit moldy or older, are some things that you may want to look out for.
Sometimes you might see changes around the house. Things aren't picked up. Things are in disarray. Things aren't being taken care of. The condition of blinds or dead plants. Mom's not watering plants anymore. Mom's not interested. It could be a variety of things, just changes that quote unquote aren't normal.
If somebody notices that their senior loved one is in this situation, maybe in an unsafe environment, could maybe use some additional help. What are some good first steps to start that conversation?
I think it's really important when you start the conversation that you make sure they understand you're doing it from a place of love and support. Go ahead and acknowledge with them, this is a difficult conversation to have, but I'm doing it because I love you. I want the best for you. I'm going to communicate what I see. I'm open to hearing how you feel, and just try and alleviate some of that anxiety about it. Try and make them feel free to talk. Communication is the key.
I don't know if I could add anything better than that, Stuart. That's exactly what should be done. There are some wonderful resources out there too. Maybe it's not necessarily making a huge change like a move. Maybe it's just little steps too, where what could we change around the home that would make this easier for you? Whether or not that's a a grab bar installed by, in the bathroom to, making sure that there's no rugs that cause a slip or a fall. So there are little things you could look into, even things like Meals on Wheels, if, they're not eating correctly or nutrition is an issue.
So it isn't necessarily a case that they're going to have to move somewhere. There are lots of ways to make a home a more appropriate place for them.
Absolutely,
Right.
John. There's so many different resources out there, including home care options, something to look into.
So I know sometimes we've run into the situation where maybe mom is ready to make a move and make a change, and dad thinks we're doing just fine where we are. How do you address a situation like that?
That one again is huge on the communication front. Sometimes moms and dads, after 50, 60 years of marriage, just assume and don't communicate. Sometimes they don't realize that their spouse is ready. They don't really realize how their spouse feels. And it's a challenge to get them to communicate. And if one spouse is reluctant, maybe you can talk to them and say, would your life be easier if you weren't having to do the majority of the stuff around here because the other parent maybe, isn't 100% anymore, Would it make your life simpler? Would it be less stressful? Kind of approach it that way.
Jocelyn and Stuart, you probably see that a lot, don't you? That oftentimes a couple is not on the same page.
In fact, we're helping a couple right now that, one of them is even thinking of one of them staying home and the other one moving because they have communicated with each other very well. And one of them really wants to make this move and the other one is really just wanting to stay home. So they're trying to figure that out together. What's going to be right for them? What's going to be their happiness and their joy and deciding that together.
If it's a situation where you notice some things immediately in the house that should be addressed, are there certain things that you need to look out for, and how can you get those corrected?
I think going into the winter season, we did this with my mother. Winter, snow and ice on that driveway. My mom's very independent. She was a farm girl. She's going to take care of it. I'm not paying anybody to move this snow. We argued for an entire winter with her after my dad died, and she would not have it. And so my sister got creative and found snow removal in our hometown, and she contacted some people. She pays them to do mom's snow removal, and my mom will tell you she has got the sweetest Good Samaritans who come every time it snows and remove that snow. If my mom knew that her children were paying for that snow removal, she would have a fit. However, we have the peace of mind that she's not out on that ice. She's not going to fall. She's not putting herself in jeopardy. And so maybe a little creative, sneaky planning sometimes. It's not underhanded. It's just done out of love.
I hope she isn't listening to this program right now because the cat will be out of the bag as far as snow removal. We have lots more to talk about with Jocelyn Fitzgerald and Stuart Mitchell here on The Aging Adventure. We'll be back after this message here on KFOR.
Welcome back to The Aging Adventure. I'm Dale Johnson with John and Kathy. Our conversation this morning is with Jocelyn Fitzgerald and Stuart Mitchell, Legacy Retirement Advisors, on using the holiday as an opportunity when talking to someone about their needs.
We talked earlier in the program about a few safety precautions, but let's talk about others that family members could put into place for their senior loved one that could help them out while they're still living in their own home to be as safe as possible.
I just talked about snow removal. Meals on Wheels was mentioned, which Nourishment and food, very important. Sometimes maybe it's just having somebody come in once a week to help mom clean. My mother lives in a ranch style home, but the laundry's in the basement. There's a carpeted floor in the basement, so there's a vacuum cleaner going up and down the stairs all the time. Might be a conversation, if they're open, to having somebody come in and just help with some of those household issues and those chores that they really might want to break from.
The home is always something that is so important to folks, and leaving it can be such a challenge to even think about for most people. A lot of times people have lived in their home for years and years, and there's so much sentimental attachment, but we really preach just having a backup plan sometimes as well, and kind of having that plan B. So something that the adult children might want to think about too is just taking some tours of some different retirement communities around town as well, and just having that maybe as something to have some information and plan for your loved one for the future if the home isn't something that is going to be a long-term solution for them as well.
And it can be as simple as in the home, in the current situation, it can be as simple as just making sure there aren't a lot of throw rugs on the floor, small things like that that can be really, really dangerous for folks.
Absolutely. Big tripping hazards there.
During the holiday season, as people age, maybe they can't participate in all of the family holiday traditions like they used to. If mom always cooked the dinner, or if dad was the one who carved the turkey or whatever, and because of aging, they're not able to maybe do that anymore. How can folks continue to participate in family holiday traditions, even as age might make that more difficult?
A lot of times the home, again, is something that everybody came to grandma's for Thanksgiving or Christmas, and she made the entire meal and had it all ready to go. Maybe it's, the adult children can start bringing the items. Maybe just have grandma or grandpa in charge of, one of the entrees, and everybody bring the sides, help out with that tradition so that it's not so hard on, one person or two people to make that meal. And maybe they just host at their house, or maybe, someone takes on that tradition and they start hosting it at their house instead. And then bringing dishes that are important to that family tradition. So just kind of rethinking, what that looks like for you to make it easier on mom or dad or grandma and grandpa.
Those are great suggestions, Jocelyn. And we were talking just a little bit ago about how married couples aren't always on the same page when it comes to the level of care they need and so on. Also, I'm sure that you find that adult children are not necessarily on the same page about what mom or dad is needing.
In my own family, there are 3 children, and right now it's a 2-to-1 vote on what would be best for mom. And I don't like to be on this side of the coin. I'd rather be the retirement living advisor helping the family sort it out. We had a very wise couple that just moved in here at the Legacy Terrace about 3 weeks ago. And I was talking to them about it, and they shared their number one piece of advice would be to make sure that all the adult children have an open communication, and that those children can agree on the course moving forward. They said, if the kids can't agree, it's going to make the entire process impossible. And so it's important for those kids as they talk, if there is dissension, they don't agree, find out why. What's the underlying tone there? Why don't you think mom or dad should do this? What's going on? Discuss it, maybe resolve some issues. It could be something as simple as a miscommunication or a misunderstanding on what retirement living is. My brother was in this building 2 weeks ago with my mother. He didn't understand what retirement living looked like, and I can't believe it. I guess I'm here all the time, and I assumed he knew. He was kind of blown away by some of the great things he saw at the Legacy Terrace.
So yeah, family dynamics can really play into it. And I've seen situations where the parents really want to make the move, but the children say they really don't need to. And sometimes it's just a matter of the adult children being in somewhat denial that mom and dad are getting older, and that's hard to do. So lots and lots of things to consider, Stuart. And Jocelyn, thank you so much for sharing your expertise with us this morning.
Absolutely. Thank you for having us.
John, where do listeners go to get more information about the legacy communities?
You can call us at 402-436-3000 or check out our website, legacyretirement.com.
Kathy, we'll talk again next week. Join us every Saturday morning for the Aging Adventure, brought to you by the Legacy Retirement Communities. I'm Dale Johnson.